Of course, we need to take a look at, just before we say goodbye to you, of course, the big talking point is this interview that has been taking place, or has happened already, between Oprah as well as Meghan and Harry. I don't think I need to mention any surnames because you know exactly who I'm talking about. So we started off the program talking about the trending topics and showed you a clip or two from this interview. So let's show you a couple more and then we'll talk to the reaction.
Yeah, and you wanted to take a breath from what specifically? Let's be clear.
From this constant barrage. My biggest concern was history repeating itself, and I've said that before, on numerous occasions, very publicly. And what I was seeing was history repeating itself, but more perhaps, or definitely far more dangerous, because then you add race in, and you add social media in. And when I'm talking about history repeating itself, I'm talking about my mother. When you can see something happening in the same kind of way, anybody would ask for help, ask the system of which you are part of, especially when you know there's a relationship there that they could help and share some truth or call the dogs off, whatever you want to call it. So to receive no help at all and to be told continuously, this is how it is, this is just how it is, we've all been through it. And I think the biggest turning point for me was and it didn't take very long, because it was actually right at the beginning, was, okay.
All right, just another snippet. There are so many snippets doing the round at the moment. We showed the one a little bit earlier about the concerns about the colour of Archie and how they were worried, how he would, when he would be born, would he be too dark? Would it be, just some of the stuff and the revelations that have come out of this have shocked some and maybe angered others.
Yeah.
So here's reactions, actually.
Yeah, speaking to what you were saying about her having some mental health issues and asking for help that didn't happen. And also, just the overall support was not there for them, unfortunately. But, Prince Harry and his wife, Meghan, as we've been discussing all morning, have given their first major TV interview, and that is, of course, since stepping back from the British royal family about a year ago.
So in this little snippet you saw, this was a very frank interview with Oprah Winfrey. Meghan accused the British royal family of racism, of lying, and of basically pushing her to the brink of suicide.
And I think fair to comment that, it's not just Meghan. Harry was speaking about it. The conversation about Archie's colour was had with him. But they were not willing to basically say who that conversation was with. But royal commentator Michelle Tauber believes that the interview will actually fuel US interest in Harry and Meghan.
I think that there were two layers to this interview. There were a lot of allegations made on the institutional level about the institution itself not supporting this couple. Meghan and Harry saying that if they had been better supported, they never would have left. And then I think you also heard the personal pain, and Meghan and Harry sharing that there were really painful and kind of astonishing conversations surrounding race. And of course, we haven't heard the palace's side of that yet. So I think all of that created a lot of sort of new questions about how things got to this point. Yeah, I think it was a really arresting and heartbreaking moment to hear Meghan lay bare the anguish that she was suffering at her lowest point. And I think, it's interesting because, of course, mental health has been at the forefront of the royals' work. Not only Meghan and Harry, but also William and Kate. In particular, suicide prevention has been something that Prince William has been very focused on. So it's really sort of seismic to hear a member of the royal family say that she herself felt that much in crisis. I think you could see even Oprah Winfrey's astonishment when Meghan shared that conversation, she said, in which there were questions surrounding how dark Archie's skin color would be at birth. Oprah then pressed Harry on who would have said that if he said he didn't want to discuss it. And both of them sort of said it would be, I think Meghan in particular said it would be so devastating if the person's identity were revealed. And I think, it's a shocking thing to hear. And I found it really interesting that Harry said that was a conversation taking place very early on in his relationship with Meghan. It wasn't even at the point when they knew, Meghan was pregnant, but it was very early on. And he also made a claim that the family said that, maybe Meghan would need to keep working as an actress to pay for, her costs. And those were things, certainly we've never heard. I think that many Americans have already kind of made up their minds about various members of the family. There's a whole Team Meghan, Team Kate. Unfortunately, many people are really entrenched in those positions. And I think Meghan herself said in the interview at one point, you don't have to like me and hate her, or hate her and to like me. And we are sort of there culturally at the moment, I think. I think that it will definitely generate a lot more interest in this couple, in this family. I think this was really, a pretty bombshell interview that, if anything, will continue to really, create that sort of insatiable appetite for what's happening in terms of this family, the relationships. Are things, going to continue to be strained? Is there hope for repair? I think all of that will be top of mind. I think where Harry struck a note that will resonate is, the idea, of course, of his mother, and that when he says he was cut off financially, that he had this fallback thanks to Princess Diana, who had established that for him. And he even said, I think she knew this might happen one day. So that's that connection for Americans, I think. This idea that he, feeling in a very low and vulnerable state, had this, safety net from his mother. I think that will really touch a lot of people. The impact of Princess Diana's Panorama interview is still being felt today, because she really pulled back the curtain, of course, on so much of her private pain, her raw emotional anguish. And I think that we saw that with the interview between Harry and Meghan and Oprah. Again, the revelation that Meghan shared, that she was battling suicidal thoughts, and the revelation that she shared saying that there was a discussion about how dark Archie's skin color would be. Those are gasp-inducing, revelations to share, and painful ones, just in the way that so much of what Diana shared was. So I think, as we know, Diana was a royal who broke the mold in many, many ways. And I think what we saw with Oprah is another royal couple, of course, Diana's younger son, going their own way with a lot of vulnerability.
All right, so just some initial analysis, and that was the senior editor of People and People Royals, Michelle Tauber. So it's a bit of analysis for you.
Yeah, and no doubt there'll be a lot more conversation around that, but this is where we have to leave it. Thank you so much for being with us here on Morning Live. The agenda up next with Desiree Chowk. Until tomorrow, take care.
Bye, everyone.